Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Ripple says XRP and crypto assets poised for substantial growth in this $5 billion industry. That is the headline from a piece on crypto media outlet dailyhodl.com. So I'll be running through that one. I've also had a new piece sent my way. AML/KYC compliance just got harder. And this is an article from payments.com. And anytime I'm thinking of KYC, which is Know Your Customer, and AML, which is Anti-Money Laundering Compliance, I always fondly think about how Ripple is the only adult in the room, or so it seems at times, that thinks that this is actually important. They don't have the stance down with banks, down with the government. They want to work with the system, which to me makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. You don't need to take a sledgehammer to it. Things are not exactly completely horrible. So anyway, though, again, the headline, AML KYC compliance just got harder, so I want to share some of the details with you in this video. Now, before we go any further, if you would, sir or madam, please delicately tap that like button. And most of what I do on this channel, as you know, is I offer dating and relationship advice, something very dear to my heart. It's so just rewarding to help people on those fronts. But in this video, it's going to be all about crypto and XRP, which I do dabble into from time to time. So I'm sorry if you did come here for the rest of the stuff I normally cover. But if that does sound like your jam, don't worry, I'll be back to that tomorrow. So go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel if that sounds like your jam. All right, so let's dive into this first piece now. Ripple says cryptocurrency-based lending represents a powerful early use case in the emerging world of digital assets. In its latest Q4 market report, the San Francisco-based payments company says the multi-billion-dollar industry is just getting started. And here's a quote from the piece. The digital asset borrowing/lending market saw substantial momentum throughout the past year, as this market is now considered a $5 billion industry. The momentum has been fueled by several factors. Low interest rates in many fiat currencies, a growing number of digital asset market participants seeking working capital, and an increasing number of long-term digital asset holders looking to generate yield. While concerns over a crypto credit bubble have started to emerge, the growth potential for this market remains substantial into this year and beyond. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does, absolutely. And so this asset class will be bastardized and mistreated just like every other asset class, and you're going to have bubbles the world over, just like there's student loan bubbles, there's car loan bubbles. I mean, what's the average payment now in America? At least I think it's over $500 a month for car payments. Not necessarily everybody can afford that or should. And you've got, did I say student loan already? The stock market's probably a bubble. There's all sorts of bubbles. So anyway, I'm just saying, if there's a bubble in all these other asset classes, why the hell wouldn't you want it to spread to crypto too? So we'll see. Oh man, you got to be responsible with your with debt that you take on. I just say it here, but no, absolutely. But this goes back to what I've been saying. It's part of what I talk with some amount of regularity on this channel. It's just it goes back to the concept of the maturation of the asset class, and it's you're going to see all sorts of things like this develop around it because clearly there's tremendous staying power to the asset class as a whole. Even though I suspect the vast majority of the cryptocurrencies out there today will go the way of my favorite avian creature, the dodo, extinct. Yeah, and then piece continues here. XRP, the third largest cryptocurrency, is now available on some of the largest crypto lending platforms, including Celsius, Genesis, Salt, and Nexo, alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and other digital assets. Now, Ripple's sentiment is echoed by a recent Gray Chain report on the crypto credit industry. The research reveals that new loans surged from 5,462 in the first quarter of 2019 to, check this out, 18,562 in the second quarter, which is a 239% jump. Gray Chain says Genesis and Celsius dominate the industry with 65% of loan origination. So, massive jump. That should tell you something. I'm telling you, look, some people that, maybe, I'd say mostly people that aren't really enveloped in the world of crypto, they just have a very bare bones understanding of it. Some people like that, they still seem to just be concerned that this is perhaps some passing fad that will go away. But I'll tell you what, all of these organizations that are building this around, there are all sorts of other household names that are jumping into crypto. I gotta insist that they wouldn't be doing this if there weren't something to this, if there weren't some staying power, even if things will be messy and many cryptocurrencies, like I said, are going to go away, this or that. From a developmental perspective, it's all still coming, and so from my perspective, say what you will about price volatility. You can be emotionally scared when price goes down, or euphoric when price goes up. All well and good if you know if that's just how you respond to that. But regardless, I just, to me, it's not reasonable to have fear that everything would just go away. Anyway, and then piece states, in contrast to the traditional banking system, crypto lending is a highly automated process. Lenders use smart contracts to track payments and interest rates. This allows borrowers to avoid going through credit checks and scoring to get a loan. So, yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see if it stays like that. I think that this is all going to be built out, and it's probably going to be kind of close to like mirroring, more traditional means of acquiring. I mean, we'll see. There's a whole thing of decentralized finance, which I don't want to get into it any further for the sake of this video, but it's fun topics for conversation. So this next piece I got from the Crypto Caveman, and shout out to you, good sir. I do appreciate you sending this my way. And this is the piece from payments.com titled AML/KYC Compliance Just Got Harder. The European Union's fifth anti-money laundering directive, 5AMLD, went into force on January 10th with new regulations for cryptocurrencies, wallets, and exchanges. Some operators said no way. Moving to countries with more relaxed rules are simply shuddering. Best leave now if know your customer KYC due diligence isn't your jam. The EU is already prepping 6 AMLD, which cracks down even harder on money laundering, especially online gambling. Issuers, merchants, payment service providers, PSPs, and other interested parties are closely watching developments in AML/KYC and counter-terrorist financing, CTF regulations, as governments worldwide clamp down strongly on identity scams. It's all detailed in the Payments January 2020 AML/KYC tracker. And so, look, from a conceptual perspective, I'm all for the KYC and AML. To me, it all makes a ton of sense. Now, the specifics of this, if this new regulation is truly intrusive to a degree that isn't reasonable, the case would have to be made to me, and if that is fine. But regardless, this is to me, this is not something that you shouldn't attempt to skirt just because you're in the world of crypto. Now take a look at this subheading, which kind of made me laugh. KYC again means know your customer. Well, here's the subheading: know your criminals. KYC. If it seems like regulators are singling out crypto unfairly, consider the fact that 63% of cryptocurrency exchanges tested in Q3 2019 were found lacking in KYC security. That provides a tiny glimpse into how vulnerable the global financial infrastructure really is, and how far AML/KYC/CTF efforts still have to go before digital identity can be completely trusted. Isn't that an interesting fact? 63% of crypto exchanges tested in Q3 last year found lacking in KYC security. Again, I think that just speaks to the nascency of the asset class as a whole, and just blockchain industry in general. Don't think it's going to stay like that. There's a lot of regulations that's going to be coming down the pike, and I generally say good. I want thoughtful regulation. I don't want too much regulation, but I do want regulation, because without that, you can't really so much move forward. All right, next. I wanted to briefly mention this before wrapping up the video. I got this from XRP Has Wings on Twitter, who tagged me along with Digital Asset Investor, and he wrote, "Proof of work is definitely not the answer." Linking to this article, Bitcoin Gold 51% attack highlights the weaknesses of proof of work. And I didn't even know this happened. I find I'm mostly looking for XRP-related content, but not exclusively. I actually read a whole bunch of stuff that I never end up talking about on the channel because I am interested in it. And maybe I just missed it, but I was unaware of this. So, and this is a piece from yesterday. So this is the first I'd seen of it, though, from CryptoSlate.com. The 51% attack Bitcoin Gold experienced last week. See, last week. And I'm sure some of you heard of it. Maybe I actually just had my head in the sand or something, but I seriously don't recall seeing this. But anyway, it sparked an industry-wide debate about the security of the network. Many saw this as proof of BTG's redundancy, but few focused on the problems in proof of work itself that enable these kinds of attacks to happen in the first place. Now, of course, XRP doesn't utilize proof of work because it's archaic technology and completely unnecessary. It uses way more energy than necessary, and it's freaking slow and costly. So, no, we can do away with mining entirely while still solving the double spend problem with the consensus mechanism. Now, the problem Bitcoin maxis have with that, it's an ideological thing which still doesn't even make sense to me. I've heard the case made, and it just doesn't resonate with me. Just this idea that the initial way in which a cryptocurrency is issued, it's basically the way that I've heard it cited. It's as if XRP being created just from inception rather than just, dispersing with mining over a prolonged period of time. It's as if that is XRP's original sin. It's ridiculous to me. It's completely absurd because ultimately there will be a day, if Bitcoin lasts long enough, where the last Bitcoin will have been mined, and it's all going to be out in the ecosystem, and XRP will also all be out into the ecosystem. And there you go. What the hell does it matter where it started at that point? And so I just don't believe in this concept of what I would call original sin. It's completely nonsensical. Now here's a subheading. Proof of work's many flaws. And oh yes, there are many. One of the least talked about flaws of the proof of work algorithm is its legal ambiguity. While obtaining control over 51% of a blockchain network is seen as a malicious move by the crypto community, the act itself isn't illegal. According to lawyer Josh Lawler, there is no legal definition of a 51% attack. Despite the U.S. law recognizing double spending as theft, blockchain attacks are still in undefined territory. Apart from the legality issue, proof of work faces another major problem: centralization. As a majority of large ASIC manufacturers are based in China, some estimates have shown that as much as 80% of all Bitcoin mining in 2018 came from China. CoinShares' December 2019 mining report, however, puts this number at around 65%. Either way, a staggering amount, right? Bitcoin mining centralization has been one of the most debated problems in crypto, but the fact that a 51% attack on the world's largest cryptocurrency would cost a staggering $1.4 billion seems to have put much of the industry at ease. I don't say it's impossible. This is what I always go back. Don't say it's impossible just because it hasn't happened. A government flush with cash would 1.4 billion is nothing. Okay, I'm just saying, if a government wanted to do this, China, they could do it. However, other major cryptocurrencies are much easier to control. Although estimated that a 51% attack on Bitcoin Cash would cost $72,000, while taking over the Lightning Network would come up to $64,000. An attack on Dash and Ethereum, a classic, cost as low as $15,000. Meanwhile, there is no such thing as a 51% attack on the XRP ledger, and not only that, you can't have chain rewrites on the XRP ledger. So the worst that you could do if you attack the network, quote unquote, attack the network, first of all, it'll cost you a fortune, and all you do is halt progress, which is better than forward progress that is faulty. So there you go. Look, I'm telling you, there's a better way to do this stuff, guys. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!